Hello everyone. Have a good day. I hope that you are in a good condition. Now, I'm gonna present my teaching. We have meeting 5. We are going to talk about asking personal question. In my daring class also has improved your speaking and writing. Hello everyone. Today, in this video, I would like to talk about the topic asking personal questions for learning English. Competence indicators or skills. The students are expected to be able to: number 1, identify items of asking personal questions. Number 2, ask for personal questions and responses formally. Number 3, ask for personal questions and responses informally. And number 4, practice English conversation or communicative activities. Well, as usually, before I start to tell about the material, firstly, I would like to tell the goals of learning. And I hope that you are all ready with yourself for following my daring class on time. Okay? The goals of learning as competence indicators or skills. The students are expected to be able to identify items of asking personal questions. Second, goals of learning as competence indicators and skills. The students are expected to be able to ask for personal questions and responses formally. Third, goals of learning as competence indicators and skills. The students are expected to be able to ask for personal questions and responses informally. And the fourth, goals of learning as competence indicators or skills. The students are expected to be able to practice English conversation or communicative activities. So, I will repeat once more so that it's more clear. For the goals of learning today, there are 4 goals of learning as competence indicators or skills today. Number 1, the students are expected to be able to identify items of asking personal questions. Number 2, the students are expected to be able to ask for personal questions and responses formally. Number 3, the students are expected to be able to ask for personal questions and responses informally. And the last goals of learning as competence indicators or skills, the students are expected to be able to practice English conversation or communicative activities. Well, I will continue. Next slide. Point A. Identify items of asking personal questions. Well, there is a dialogue conversation in which we will identify items together for asking personal questions. Well, you may allow me for repeating after me. You may allow me for reading the dialogue conversation after me. Let us read together. Okay. Are you ready? Okay. Sandy said, "Excuse me, could I pay my ticket in here?" Kathy said, "Sure. What is your name?" Sandy Obama. How do you spell your last name, please? O B A M A. And then Kathy said, "What is your address?" Pandawa Street, number 123. Could I have your name card, please? Certainly. Here is. Okay. Any others? No. Thank you. You are welcome. Well, everybody, based on the dialogue conversation, we will try to identify items of asking personal questions. Do you know which one is called as asking personal questions based on the dialogue conversation? Who can mention it? Who can tell me? Which sentence of asking personal questions? Is there anyone? Yes. The first asking personal questions for the sentence, could I pay my ticket in here? Okay, this is the sentence for asking personal questions. Okay. The second sentence is, yes. What is your name? What is your name is the sentence for asking personal question. What else? Okay, good. Next sentence. How do you spell your last name, please? Okay, this one is the sentence for asking personal questions. Good job. The next? Yes, next sentence is, what is your address? This is called for asking personal questions. And then next asking personal question is, yes, could I have your name card, please? And then the last one is, okay, good. Any others? Okay. Well, I hope that all of you have understand which one is called for asking personal questions based on a dialogue conversation. Yeah, I hope that everybody could identify items of asking personal questions based on this dialogue conversation. Okay. Is it easy? Isn't it? Okay, I will continue. The next slide. Point B. As our second goals of learning, asking personal questions and responses formally. Well, there are some expressions for asking personal questions and responses formally. What are they? The first one is, okay, for example, could I have your name? I'm Sandy. Okay, could I have your name? Is the examples of expression asking personal questions formally. The answer is, or the response is, I'm Sandy. Wow. The second example, asking personal questions formally. Okay. Next example, may I have your address? Okay, this one is also asking personal questions formally. So the response, 123 Pandawa Street. Okay. Next example for asking personal questions formally. Okay. Would you tell me your occupation? Okay, this one is called asking personal questions formally. So what is the response or what is the answer? I'm a student. Yes. And then the last example for asking personal questions formally. Could you tell me your telephone number? So what is the response? The response is, it is 342810. Yeah. Okay. This one is the examples for expressions asking personal questions and responses formally. Okay. Any questions so far? If you have a problem, if you have some questions, you may share for your questions to via Google Classroom. Okay, I will continue for the next slide. Point C. Asking personal questions and responses informally. Point B. Asking personal questions and responses formally. But in point C, asking personal questions and responses informally. What are the expressions? What are the examples of expressions asking personal questions and responses informally? Okay, the first example. What is your name? What is your name? It is the examples of expressions asking personal questions informally. Yeah. And then, where do you live? It is also the examples of expressions asking personal questions informally. And then, what is your occupation? It is the examples of expressions asking personal questions informally. And then the last, asking personal questions. What is your phone number? What is your phone number? Is the examples of expressions asking personal question informally. Okay. Do you know what is the difference examples of expressions asking personal questions and responses formally and informally? Are you with me? Did you get the point? What is the difference between asking personal questions formally and asking personal questions informally? Okay. Okay. The first one is when you want to ask someone, when you want to know the names of someone, okay, you usually use for asking your personal questions, what is your name? Okay, what is your name? Is asking personal questions informally. So how do if we want to ask about names of someone by asking personal question formally, you can use could. Yeah. Could I have your name? Could I have your name? It is the expressions, the examples of expressions asking personal formally. If you want to know about name of someone, yeah, you may ask by giving your personal questions formally. For example, could I have your name? I am Sandy. As usually, when you want to know the names of someone, you ask him or her by say, what is your name? What is your name? Is the examples of expressions asking personal questions informally. Yeah. For asking personal questions formally, you may use the sentence, the example of expressions, could I have your name? Okay? Did you understand the difference between asking personal questions formally and informally? You may use for having verbs could, may, would, Yeah, could, may, and would. Yeah. Okay. And then asking personal questions informally. Yeah, you may use what is your name, where do you live, what is your occupation. Okay. Where do you live is the examples of expressions asking personal questions informally. How do we, if we want to ask about address, by using asking personal questions formally? Yeah, you may use the word could. Could you tell me where do you live? Okay. Okay. You may try it for giving the examples of expressions asking personal questions formally and informally by yourself. Yeah. Okay. Next, I will continue. Next slide. Point D. Practicing the dialogue. Wow. Practice the following dialogue in pairs using read lookup strategy. Direction. Complete the following dialogues using idiomatic English. Wow. Okay. Let us complete the following dialogues together. Well. A. May I have your name? May I have your name? It is the examples of expression asking personal question formally or informally. Yes, it is the examples of expressions asking personal questions formally because the sentence is used having verb may. Yeah. May I have your name? The answer is, or the response is, my name is Mira Clara. Well, and then what is your personal questions for the second questions? The response is CLARA. So what is your personal questions? Formally. Yes. How do you spell your last name, please? Good. Okay. The next. Third personal question. What is your personal questions formally? The response is, here you are. Okay, who can give the example? Yes, the example. Could I have your name card, please? Okay. Could I have your name card, please? Could I have your name card, please? Here you are. Good. Next. What is your personal questions formally? For the responses on July of 22nd, 2002. Yes. Could you tell me when was you born? Good. Yeah. Okay. The last. Oh. Okay. Would you like to tell me your occupation? Okay, the answer is, or the response is, I'm a teacher. Okay. Good job. Okay, next slide. We still have for practicing intonation. Okay. Last meeting I have explained to you about intonation. Intonation is divided into two. They are rising intonation and falling intonation. Rising intonation, the pitch of the voice goes up. Thus, falling intonation, the tone of voice goes down. Yeah. Okay, I hope that you still remember for my explanation last meeting. That's about intonation. Yeah. Okay, did you still remember? If yes, if WH questions and statements are spoken with the following intonation. Okay, WH questions with who, what, where, which, why, or how is spoken with the following intonation. But in contrast, for yes-no questions are usually spoken with rising intonation. Yes-no questions with auxiliaries such as am, is, are, do, does, did, have, has, and had. So remember it to get so that you're practicing intonation well. You should remember. Yeah, I will repeat once more so that it's more clear. For WH questions with who, what, where, which, why, or how are spoken with a falling intonation. The tone of voice goes down. And then, for yes-no questions with auxiliaries such as am, is, are, do, does, did, have, has, and had are spoken with falling intonation. The tone of the voice goes down. Okay, did you get the point? Are you with me? Okay, we will try for practicing intonation for the next slide. Yes, WH questions. Okay, WH questions are spoken with falling intonation. Yeah. Okay, WH questions are spoken with falling intonation. Okay, for example, what is your name? Okay. What is your name? My name is Jerry. The statement is spoken with falling intonation. Yeah. Okay, WH questions. What, where, when, how is spoken also with falling intonation. So for example, how do we for practicing intonation well? For the first sentence, okay, what is your name? My name is Jerry. Then the second sentence, how do you spell your name? How do you spell your name? G A R Y. Okay, the second sentence, it's also spoken with falling intonation. Okay, how do we read the sentence for practicing intonation? Okay, the example number 3. Okay, where is your cat name? Where is your cat name? It is in my bag. Okay, well, I will repeat once more. For practicing intonation. WH questions are spoken with falling intonation. Okay, number 1. What is your name? My name is Jerry. How do you spell your name? G-A-R-Y. Where is your cat name? It is my bag. Okay, You may repeat after me. You may allow me for repeating, practicing intonation. Okay. The first sentence, spoken with following intonation. For example, first sentence. What is your name? What is your name? My name is Jerry. My name is Jerry. How do you spell your name? How do you spell your name? G-A-R-Y. Where is your card name? Where is your card name? It is in my bag. It is in my bag. Okay. You may try for practicing your intonation by yourself at your home. You may stand in front of your mirror. You can see for your mouth, your face, yeah, so that you can do for practicing your good intonation by yourself at your home. Well, I will continue. Next slide. Yes, no questions. Well, for yes, no questions are usually spoken with a rising intonation. Rising intonation is the pitch of the voice goes up. Okay, for example, the first sentence. Are you a teacher? Are you a teacher? Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Yes, I am is statement. So, spoken with following intonation. Where the second sentence. Do you want to be a doctor, Ida? Do you want to be a doctor, Ida? No, I don't, Tom. No, I don't, Tom. Okay. The last sentence. Does Tom has a mother? Does Tom has a mother? Yes, he has. Yes, he has. Okay, I will repeat once more. Yes, no question spoken with a rising intonation. But for the answer or for the response, because the responses are statement spoken by following intonation. Where? You may repeat after me. You may allow for repeating your intonation after me. Okay, the first sentence. Are you a teacher? Are you a teacher? Yes, I am. Do you want to be a doctor, Ida? Do you want to be a doctor, Ida? No, I don't, Tom. Does Tom has a mother? Does Tom has a mother? Yes, he has. Yes, he has. Okay. Next, I will continue. Point F. Practicing pronunciation. Phonemes K and G. Description. The phonemes K and G are called velar stops. They are pronounced by putting the back of the tongue against the volume. Once more, the description. The phonemes K and G are called velar stops. They are pronounced by putting the back of the tongue against the volume. The English phoneme K is a voiceless consonant and it is aspirate. The English phoneme G is voiced consonant and it is not aspirate. But phonemes K and G can occur in all positions. Yeah. Well, let us try to practicing pronunciation. Phonemes K and G. Pronounce the following words, first downwards and then from the left. Well, let us try. Okay, don't forget for the English phoneme K is a voiceless consonant and it is aspirated. Yeah. Well, for example, cap, cap, calm, calm, anchor, anchor, lacking, lacking, back, back, big, Pig. Okay, the English phoneme key is a voiceless consonant and it is aspirated. Yeah. Well, the next, pronounce the following words first downwards and then from the left. Okay. Okay, the English phoneme G is voice consonant and it is not aspirated. Yeah. Well, for example, gap, gum, anger, legging, bag, pig. Okay, there is a difference between phonemes K and G. Yeah, there are the difference when we pronounce the English phonemes K and the English phonemes G. Okay, for the contrast between practicing pronunciations, the English phonemes K and G. For example, cap, cap, gap, gum, gum, anchor, anger, lacking, legging, back, back, pig, pig. Okay, you may try by yourself for practicing your pronunciations at your home. Well, I will continue next practicing the dialogue. Well, practice the dialogue below with your good intonation and pronunciation. Well, I have explained to you before about intonation and pronunciation. Yeah, I have explained to you for practicing intonation and pronunciation. Now, let us practice the dialogue below with your good intonation and pronunciation. Okay, I think let us try to practice the dialogue below together with good intonation and pronunciation. Okay, the first personal questions. It is spoken with appalling intonation because WH question. Yeah. Okay. And the next, second personal questions. Are you a student? Spoken with a rising intonation. Yeah. Are you a student? Spoken with rising intonation because yes, no questions. Yeah. And then what is your address? Is spoken with a falling intonation because WH questions. Yes. And then do you bring your name card? It is spoken with a rising intonation because yes, no questions. Yeah. Well, let us try. Okay. Excuse me. What is your name? My name is Cynthia Clara. Are you a student? Are you a student? Rising intonation because there's no questions. No, I am not. What is your address? What is your address? It is spoken with falling intonation because WH questions. Okay, the response, Waterfront Street, number 2, not number 23. Okay. Do you bring your name card? Do you bring your name card? Okay, spoken with rising intonation because it is yes, no questions. Yes, of course. Okay. Any others? Any others? Spoken with rising intonation because yes, no questions. No, thank you. You are welcome. Okay, I think all of my students would like to practice the dialogue below with your good intonation and pronunciation. Okay. Well, next point is communicative activities. Direction. Echo the situation below using appropriate English to fit the function stated and implied by yourself. Okay. Fill and practice in the form below by asking your personal questions formally. Yeah, okay. I hope that fill and practice in the form below by asking your personal questions formally. Yeah, you may write and practice by yourself in the form below by asking your personal questions formally. Okay, you may ask about name, spelling of name, date of birth, study program, occupation, address, and the last phone number. Yeah, write and practice by asking your personal questions formally. You may do it by typed computer or handwritten in your paper, and then please collect for your task to via Google Classroom. Okay, before I close the class, yeah, okay, for communicative activities, the direction, echo the situation below using appropriate English to fit the function stated and implied by yourself. Fill and practice in the form below by asking your personal questions formally. Yeah. Okay, this is your project. You may write and then practice by yourself. Yeah, by asking your personal questions formally. Okay, you might ask about name, spelling of name, date of birth, study program, occupation, address, and phone number. Yeah, you may do your project by typed computer or handwritten in your paper. And then please collect your tasks to via Google Classroom. Thank you. Just enough for today. Thank you very much for your joining. We will continue for the next week. See you and bye.